everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're diving into a story that's got South African political circles buzzing. It's about Floyd Shivambu, the former deputy president of the Economic Freedom Fighters, who has found himself back in the headlines for reasons he probably didn't expect. And the man pulling him into the spotlight? None other than Prince Mashele, a political analyst known for never holding his tongue. So, what's the drama? Well, Mashele has taken aim at Shivambu's brand new political party, dismissing it as nothing more than a salary project. Yes, you heard that right, a salary project. According to Mashele, Shivambu's party isn't about revolution, change, or challenging the system. It's about making sure Floyd has a paycheck at the end of the month. That's a brutal accusation, but also a fascinating one, because it cuts to the heart of a question many South Africans are asking: do we need yet another political party, and if we do, what exactly makes one credible? Let's rewind for a second. Floyd Shivambu is not a nobody. For years, he stood as Julius Malima's right-hand man in the EFF. He was articulate, sharp with policy, and respected by many young radicals who saw him as someone who could actually take the struggle for economic freedom beyond slogans. But politics is a brutal game. His influence in the EFF started to wane, and by the time he left, his name was attached to more controversies than achievements. Allegations of corruption, internal clashes, and even whispers that Malema himself had lost trust in him, it all added up. Now, here comes his comeback, a shiny new political party. For some, this feels like a chance at reinvention. After all, South African politics is full of comebacks. Look at Jacob Zuma. He went from resignation in disgrace to being a keymaker with his MK party. Why can't Floyd Shivambu do the same? His supporters argue that he's too smart to fade into obscurity, that he still has ideas worth listening to, and that maybe, just maybe, he can capture the voices of those who feel let down by both the ANC and the EFF. But Mashele's blunt words, calling it a wage project, strike at a deeper truth many South Africans are quietly whispering. How many of our smaller political parties are really about serving the people? And how many are just about keeping their founders in parliament, collecting salaries, allowances, and perks? Think about it. We've seen parties mushroom just before elections, only to disappear afterwards. Some of them barely get one seat, but that one seat means a salary, staff, and political relevance for at least 5 years. It's not a bad hustle, if you think about it. Of course, Mashele isn't exactly known for tact. He thrives on sharp soundbites, and his criticism of Shivambu has set social media alight. Some people agree wholeheartedly, saying South Africans are tired of political entrepreneurs who use parties as personal businesses. Others argue that it's unfair. Why shouldn't Shivambu have the right to form a party if he believes in his vision? If the voters don't trust him, they simply won't vote for him. That's democracy. The bigger question, though, is whether Shivambu has a real constituency. His time in the EFF gave him visibility, yes, but it was Malema who carried the charisma. Shivambu was more of the policy brain, the strategist, the quieter operator. Starting your own party is a whole different game. You need money, volunteers, media coverage, and a clear identity. So far, we don't really know what this new party stands for. Is it leftist? Is it nationalist? Is it going to focus on youth, on workers, on rural voters? Or is it just going to be a mini EFF, a sort of EFF light? Critics are already worried about voter fatigue. South Africans are drowning in parties. The last national election had over 300 names on the ballot. Ordinary voters often joke that some of these parties only exist so that their leaders can wear suits and give speeches on SABC. That's the danger Shivambu faces, being lumped into the category of parties nobody takes seriously. But let's not forget, politics is also about timing. The country is restless. The ANC is weaker than it's ever been. The DA has its own limitations, mostly around race and class perception. The EFF has stagnated in terms of growth, unable to break beyond its usual 10%. The MK party has exploded, but it's centered on Jacob Zuma's personal cult, and that won't last forever. Into this chaos walks Floyd Shivambu. If he can present his party as a fresh alternative, tapping into anger around jobs, corruption, and inequality, maybe he stands a chance of shaking things up. Still, the salary project label is going to haunt him. In politics, perception is everything. If people believe your party exists only to pay your bills, they won't trust you with their vote. And South Africans are cynical these days. They've seen too many leaders talk about revolution while driving luxury cars and building mansions. Shivambu has to prove that he's not just another politician looking for a lifeline. And here's where it gets juicy. Supporters of Mashele argue that the comment was not just about Shivambu, but about the entire political culture. If you zoom out, you'll see that our parliament is filled with small parties that have no real impact on legislation, no mass movements on the ground, and no vision beyond keeping their leaders employed. Some of these MPs are earning more than doctors, teachers, or engineers, yet they barely contribute. That's the system Shivambu is walking into, and unless he breaks the mold, he'll be accused of playing the same game. But here's the twist. For all the criticism, scandals, and memes, South Africans love drama in politics. A controversial figure like Floyd Shivambu can still draw attention, and attention is currency in modern politics. If he leverages his reputation as an intellectual and a fighter, if he positions himself as someone who can correct the mistakes of Malema and Zuma, then maybe, just maybe, this so-called salary project could become more than that. So where does that leave us? Is this the birth of a genuine movement, or just another chapter in South Africa's long book of political hustles? Is Floyd Shivambu the comeback kid, or is Prince Mashele right to call him out? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain, this story is far from over. What do you think? Is Floyd's new party a real force for change, or is it just a way to keep himself in the political game? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with anyone who loves South African politics. Thanks for watching, and as always, see you next time. This script is